Good evening. Welcome to Paranormal Experienced with Kat Hobson. That's me. I am so glad that you are here. I don't normally do a Thanksgiving Eve show, but I thought, why not? It's such a great time. And when I do these shows, I get to visit with my friends. And tonight is no exception. The show is called Haunting Evidence, and my research and paranormal investigation partner is here with me to share talk about some things, do some stuff, and few ghost stories along the way, right? So, without further ado, hello, Lori Dorsey.
Hello, Cat Hobson.
I'm so glad you're here.
I'm so glad to be here. It's gonna be fun.
It is going to be fun. I started out just to be doing some ghost stories, right?
Right.
Because we know a few. We've lived a few.
Yeah.
But
Hey, Kat,
yes,
what
sir.
you know all those pictures you had down below? When
I
you
do.
kicked yourself off, they went bye-bye.
Oh, well, we will just have to add them again
Oh,
because we have got we have got all kinds of fun things. We've got stuff from Moon River. We have got stuff from Sloss. We have got stuff from you name it. From we have stuff from where you killed somebody.
Oh,
Bannockburn.
Bannockburn. Yeah, Bannockburn. Bannockburn House. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's really fun because I had no idea, y'all, that, when I decided that this was going to be my bestie, that she was going to have been a murderer in a past life. And so now I'm careful if we're sharing a room to sleep with one eye open. Not really. I trust her with my life, literally, because, we do share rooms when we're off somewhere.
Yeah.
And, it's really such a gift to be able to have the experiences that we've had because it's been a long time since we were at Moon River with Doogie and them, right?
Oh my gosh,
It's
yes.
been such a long time.
Long time ago.
And I wouldn't trade it, not one bit of it.
No.
It's just so amazing.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the things I like the best is having gotten to know you, having gotten the chance to be in all these places.
Yes.
We have now been out of the country twice so far, working
Yes.
on the third one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and for anybody that is interested, there is a tour, Secret Ireland Tours, that is run by May Harrinan.
Mm-hmm.
And we are going in September on a tour that Rick McCollum is talent for.
Yep.
And boy, he's going to be just so it's going to be so fun
Oh,
because he's mainly interested in getting to where The Quiet Man was filmed,
yeah.
as well as Limp Castle, the Hellfire Club, where he has family ties, family history ties,
Mm-hmm.
all this kind of stuff. So there's going to be that. And I think that we're just going to be so lucky to be able to do all these things.
Oh yeah. Oh, without a doubt.
Just,
Ghost
it's
hunting.
just unbelievable.
This will be fun.
It will be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to add all of your videos, and we're going to see if that worked because for those of y'all that didn't hear Carl, right before we went live, I somehow just threw myself out of the studio and took all my stuff with me. So there's that.
There's that.
Um, I'm not sure about my overlays still being there. I'm looking now, looks like a lot of them are. But, we had, as I was adding these overlays for people that don't know, you know, we have been to Mansfield.
Mm-hmm.
We have been to Old South Pittsburgh. We have been to gosh, Paulding so many times.
Oh
We've
yeah.
really been at Thomas House. I think that my favorite place we've been, well, there's a lot of them there, but Balgoni is so, we had such extreme experiences
Oh,
there. It's
yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
And what do you think? I mean, which one out of the ones that we've done, what do you think your favorite is? Because we went to so many places when we were in Scotland this time. We were there for 3 weeks and it was in freaking insane.
Yeah. It
We did
was.
not know what town we were in. We didn't know what castle we were in half the
We,
time.
we were trying to make sure we were on the right train.
Yes, that was funny. And nobody would let me get off the train when I was where I wanted to go, but that's where we're going if we're, you
Yes.
know, we've
Yes.
already discussed that we will be seeing Croy in
That's right.
Scotland.
You know me, I'm up for anything. Anything
You
new,
are. I am too. That's why we travel well together.
we do. And we like the same food.
We do.
Hmm.
Especially sticky pudding, sticky toffee pudding,
Sticky toffee pudding.
which
And
also happens to be Princess Catherine's favorite dessert as well. So we stand in good company.
yes, yes, we do. My favorite over in Scotland. Oh man, that's a tough. That's really tough. I The one that I had besides Bannockburn, that personal was when we were at the Fair Maid's house.
Yes, you had
That
such a good experience
I
there.
had a good. Nobody else did, but I did. I had nothing was recorded, and as Rick said,
That's
well,
because you wandered off on your own. You ran away from us.
no, you got nice
We
to
went upstairs. I know.
you want to see the maps and everything. But yeah, I love the Fairmaid's house. That was a good one when I had interaction with. It turned out to be a man
Hmm.
who died. It took a long time to, you know, he picked up on how to use the K2 really quickly, and after a lot of questions, I got it narrowed down to he was a man that died in a flood in the 1500s. He was not married, but he was in love with a woman, and his body was never recovered. And he stays there because he likes Cameron.
Well, who wouldn't?
Yeah, good
I
kid.
mean, and that was the curator
Hmm.
that we spent the day with, and who bonded so much with Mikey.
Yeah,
I mean, they were like two
brother.
runaway horse thieves. They were into it.
Yeah, that one was a good one. And if I just wish I wouldn't have been so tired, but that Bankfoot
We
Hotel,
we were so exhausted. Oh my
it,
gosh, that was insane.
that was crazy. And even when we were at the Salutation Hotel, and that, my gosh, how many hours of investigation did we do down there? And
That
we
was that
interact.
had to be 5 hours or so.
Oh, we were getting so much interaction. It
And
was crazy.
and no matter what equipment we put out, because
Yeah.
Mikey had the tape,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and we were doing the Estes method.
Yep.
We were doing just EVPs,
Oh yeah. Oh,
and it was insane.
it was
The
crazy.
the rims,
Oh
I mean, it used everything.
yeah. Mm-hmm. After we showed them how to use it,
Yes.
they took off with it. It was truly amazing how quickly they caught on.
Yeah.
I mean, there was so much happening. Even the Writers Museum.
Oh,
You had ugh.
not going
I
back there.
mean,
I'm not going.
International
I'm,
was amazing, but you got smacked. So
it was so weird because
yeah.
that doesn't happen to me. I'm not
Mm-mm.
an evidential medium. I'm
And
not.
and when I looked at you, I thought, oh no,
Something's wrong.
something's wrong.
Something was wrong.
Something's wrong.
So
Yeah, but oh my gosh, I mean, to narrow it down to one, that's really tough. I mean, Balgoni is always special. I mean, there's no
Balgoni,
down
yeah.
that. Yeah, and walking around St. Andrews with Greg, you know, Gregor, I mean, telling the history and the stories and the stuff that goes on. And I found the Patterson name,
Yeah.
which is on my mom. That's my mom's maiden name. I found it there at St. Andrews. I found it in Perth. I found it at Roslyn. I mean, it was, you
It was
know,
everywhere.
yeah. I mean,
Well, I mean,
Inverness.
there
I found
were,
it
yeah.
there. Hmm. So yeah, I mean, Scotland's just special. I mean, there's no other words for it other than
Yeah.
it's very special. It's very magical. And it's very
It is
old.
very magical. And, I noticed this, because before when we went, we were like Sherman through Atlanta. We were just, and nobody was organized, right?
Yeah.
So this time we did it ourselves.
Mhm.
There were 5 of us, and we had so much fun. We worked with um, History and Horrors tours, and Lynn is coming on with me, so that's going to be fantastic. That little Jacobian woman, her.
Mhm.
And then we had Inverness Paranormal, which took us more of everywhere. We went everywhere. And then, of course, Scottish Paranormal, the Haunted Scotland guys, and they are loves. And I'm just so
Mhm.
appreciative of because especially Lynn and her whole family coordinated the
Oh,
History and Horrors tours. They took us everywhere. We were at um, well, gosh, the
hang on,
Bankfoot Inn for
hang on.
one.
I've got the flyer she gave us. I kept it. Hang on.
Okay, and she's gone,
And I'm back.
and she's back,
And okay. Yeah, we went
and
to.
you dropped it.
Oh,
I'm
whoops. Yeah,
teasing.
we
That
went
was for our friend Rick.
and I dropped it. Oh yeah, we went to Stirling Castle. Then we
Hmm.
went to Bannockburn.
Hmm.
Then we went to Bankfoot.
Hmm.
And then the next day we went to Dunk Duncan
Dunkeld.
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 Yeah,
That was a cool town.
yeah, that was
That was
pretty.
where you learned about energy circles.
Yes, yes, you
You're
about knocked
welcome.
that one.
You're welcome.
I did. And then let's see, where else did we go? Oh, we had dinner and we walked Perth. That's when we walked Perth.
With
Um,
Gary's
yeah,
tour.
yeah, and we got to see where the grates, which totally
Did you
fascinating.
just love that?
Oh yeah, because you could see the ghost, and they said that's where they were buried.
Yeah. The everywhere. For those that don't know, when we were walking through Perth, the because they dug up people,
Mm-hmm.
and so they also have their own Greyfriars cemetery, as they do in Scotland, in Edinburgh.
Mm-hmm.
But and we got to tour that because Gary is doing a guide. He is a guide for haunted tours there
Mm-hmm.
and history and horror tours.
Mm-hmm.
But the every place that there was a grave has a grate with ghosts in it.
Mm-hmm. That's where
It's
some.
absolutely astounding.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, oh my gosh, oh yeah. And then we went to the Fairmaid's house the last day we were there, and we went to the Salutation. That's where we did the
That nighttime investigation. They
yeah,
were totally cool with us doing that. They let us have that room. And
yeah.
then when they finished the conference in the larger room across from us, we got to go over there and there was still activity there too. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know that it wasn't the same person that
Yeah,
just came with us. I'm not sure about that, but
yeah. Then we got to go to Castle Menzies or Menzies
Mingus,
Mangus. Sorry,
spelled Menzies,
it's spelled Menzies.
pronounced there Mingus.
Mangus.
We got in
Yes,
trouble for that by everybody.
I know. Mm. But that place was amazing. I mean,
That was where you were just blown away because of the death mask of Bonnie Prince Charlie.
yes, I thought that was so bizarre. I mean, it was hanging there in the bedroom. Like, Wow. Okay.
in a cabinet that was lit.
I just kind of went, okay, that's kind of creepy, but okay.
Well, I mean, they had to have verification that he was dead.
Right. Yeah. And you can
So,
always, what do you look like? Because, pictures weren't easily done, you know.
at all.
Yeah. But yeah, that place was pretty amazing. And then the stairs to go down to where the head of the clan stayed,
Yeah.
really weird staircase and stuff was going on there. And off to the side was where it was stepped over and you put their valuables and their stuff over to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, I didn't get a lot of activity, but it was definitely really odd. Just an odd,
Well, the energy was just off.
yeah.
And,
It,
and that's really the best way to describe it. There weren't a lot of places that we went, and we went to places that were equally aged,
oh yeah,
but
oh yeah.
but we didn't have that energetic signature.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I don't remember any place like that.
Well, the feeling that I got is they were going, why are you here?
Hmm. Are
Because
you a threat?
yeah,
We were being evaluated
mm-hmm. That's the feeling that I got especially in that clan, the head of the clan's room down
in
there.
his bedroom. Yeah,
That it was like, why are you here?
I felt like I felt like they were perceiving Rick as a bit of a threat,
Mm-hmm. Well, he is.
and so, well, he's a big guy, and he was in a town,
Mm-hmm. That's true.
so he looked Scott.
Yeah, he did.
So, and he is a Scot.
Yeah,
So,
that's.
but it was to me. I felt like they weren't offended by him, but they were very cautious with him.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree with you there. But yeah, I mean, even what I just wish we could have got back to Rosalind, back to the castle ruins, but that was all blocked off. That was pretty. It was still
Well, it
cool.
was
We got
the
land.
bridge was being worked on,
Yeah,
so they're at the brook.
yeah.
So
Well, look what happened at Temple.
yeah,
I mean, that was amazing. I mean, it was just amazing when Gregor and drove us down there, and it was like the only thing I didn't care for was the midge. The midge.
that was the only place we went that I had a midge issue,
Oh, they were.
and poor Mikey was eaten
Oh,
alive.
he had bites all over him. Ugh.
That fair skin.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really well. You're fair too, but he's got like baby skin,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
so it's still kind of a baby, is what he is.
Well, he
But
is. Yeah.
it was really amazing because that's the only place we really had a midges issue.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
boy, did we!
Boy, did we. Man.
I just pulled my coat up over my face and when I wasn't talking to somebody. But that was where, um, that's where Julie, Mikey's wife, started becoming one with her K2.
Yes.
And she was getting so much really good activity,
Yep.
and she was being very patient.
Mm-hmm.
And that was probably fun because that's when we witnessed the birth of a ghost hunter,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because she's sold American on that. And by the way, happy birthday, Julie. Today's her birthday.
Oh, right. Happy birthday, Julie.
So we love you.
Yay. We miss.
And, you know, anybody that'll let you use their bathroom is a friend of mine. So it was, we had a house that had two bathrooms and one of them was in their room, but they let us through. So yay.
We didn't have to
But,
all downstairs.
yes. So, Hubster there, bringing me my beverage of choice.
Yay.
What a guy. But, and he, by the way, who has now gone away, had dinner waiting for me today as I was coming flying in, getting through rush hour traffic to get here and do the show tonight. And he is who dog sat while we were in Scotland,
Oh,
and is
good.
already planning to do it when we're in Ireland next year. Oh gosh, it's going to cost me. I don't care.
That's
I'll
okay.
just I just love him. He is so good about stuff like that. So a little braggadociousness on my husband, but he's wonderful. Um, but anyway, back to, you know, the other side of spirits, not the boom, boom, boom spirits.
Yes.
But it was really fun when we were there at Temple because I was expecting not quite so much of a ruin,
Yeah.
right? I
Right.
didn't really grasp the antiquity of that site.
Yeah.
It was just like, and there's so much energy there.
Mm, that's for
And
sure. And you kept losing me
I was,
on the
I,
thermal.
I did. And, you know, that's the first time that's ever happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had you on thermal a lot over time,
Mm-hmm.
but it was, you weren't there. You just simply walked in, walked out, but it was a zone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It was an area and there's nothing there.
No.
There's no power. There's a stream over on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing to be interfering
Yeah.
at all.
No.
And yet there you were not.
Yeah. And you told me to step back, and I stepped
Yeah.
back to see me, and then I stepped forward, and then you couldn't see me. And
Yes.
you could see me.
And I've never had that happen.
I'm going.
And I'm glad you brought that up because that's probably one of the strangest paranormal investigation experiences that I've had. I'm sure it is for you that you just disappeared like that.
Yeah.
You know, but you did.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, if I hadn't been standing there looking at you, I would have thought maybe you were a spirit or, you know, something
Yeah.
because all of a sudden you had no energy signature whatsoever.
Weird.
Well, that's us, weird or us. But
That's true.
it's that's what happens when you run with the big dogs and, you know, get plowed over every so often by them.
Yeah.
So, you know, um and you know, we've really never talked about that, about the disappearance on 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 that. That was just bizarre.
Yeah. It's very.
And that was my batteries were fine. It was fully charged. I wasn't losing anybody else. I mean, Lee Dunn was there, Gregor was there,
Mm-hmm.
Gregor Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Rick was there. Julie
yeah,
was there. Mikey was there. Everybody was there.
everybody was there.
Mm-hmm.
And that didn't happen with anyone else. And so, but I think because I wasn't filming anyone else there. So I feel like there was a portal or something.
Mm-hmm.
There was something. And that was using my thermal imager.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that was, I mean, you didn't have a heat signature. I wasn't seeing you at all in there.
Yeah, because you kept telling me, go forward, go back, go forward.
Step back over there. Back up. Step back over. Yeah, you were very patient.
It's just kind of went, okay. I don't know what's happening, but okay.
I don't see you.
Well, it's
You
just like
know, and
at Aerith, when I was filming with my SLS, I could
mm-hmm,
everybody's, um, stick figure except
mm-hmm,
his.
yeah,
I couldn't,
except Rick.
I could not. It took probably 20 minutes after I was running the camera for at least 20 minutes. And I finally got him. It finally mapped him.
Yeah.
I mapped everybody in that whole area except him.
Well, but you know, he had an experience at a friend's house where he walked out the door and her ring camera didn't see him
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And the weird
and saw everything else.
with the Aerith Castle thing was there was a small figure standing next to him,
Mm-hmm.
but I couldn't map him. So I
Maybe
just
he shrunk for the moment.
that could be too.
He's such a little man.
Yeah,
So,
just a little guy.
but that was very cool because I mean, you really are a whiz with your SLS. I enjoy the things that you capture and share.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I think that it was interesting when we were at since you brought up Eric, you know, we were just playing in that ante room,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a dog by me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
what is that?
Yeah.
You know? And you said, it looks like a dog. I said, it's got to be a dog.
Mm-hmm. And you found
And
later, didn't you, that there was a dog
mhm,
that had
yeah,
passed here or had something?
it was a house dog, a
Yeah.
castle dog.
Mm-hmm.
And, there was a lot of stuff that happened in that castle.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I wish that that had been a better tour so that we would have been able to have more information.
Yeah.
But fortunately, we had Rick, who
Yes.
got us the opportunity to investigate that castle.
Yes.
Go,
And that's
Rick.
amazing. Yes. God bless Rick. We
Well,
never went.
I didn't know that because we didn't know the history of the castle.
Mm-mm.
So when we went downstairs, we were in that area with the well
Mm-hmm.
that was so weird.
That.
And, we walked out of there, and that's where they had the German prisoners,
Mm-hmm.
and there were little swastikas.
Mm-hmm.
But they had German prisoners of war housed there.
There. Yeah.
And they had marked their days, I guess, with swastikas.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just kind of like, okay, that's
Yeah.
different.
That was different. Yeah.
And
It was just weird energy there. It was just.
everything was weird,
It was.
including the fact that all the linens were plaids, including the bed hangings and
Yeah.
stuff.
Everything. Yeah. That's true.
I, that was a new experience for me. Not judging, it was just different,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I get
So
it. Mm-hmm.
I have tartan stuff.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah. So do I.
I know, right? But I think that what was the other than the damage that happened when we were at Colliden and the Writers Museum, what was your favorite part in the Writers Museum? Because we were the first people to investigate there, the first team.
Right. I think it was all the interaction we got in the basement.
Yeah.
They were it was almost like they were so happy that somebody wanted to talk to them.
Yeah.
You know, they would light things up when we would ask questions, and it's like, oh
Yeah.
my, it was like, it was just immediate response because it was like, oh my gosh, they want to talk to us,
They're
you know,
listening. Yeah.
they're type thing. And
Yes.
that part is what, and you could tell by the energy too, that they were just so happy that we were there to talk to them. Because
Hmm.
time people just walk through there, and look at the stuff because it's a museum.
Yeah.
Actually speak to them, yeah, I think they
Yeah.
would take for it.
With tools so that
Yeah.
they could talk back.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So they could see the interaction and we could tell what they were, yes or no, yes or no.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, to narrow it down, it's hard. I there at the Writers Museum, I'd say, well, even the one when you got smacked in the head, that was pretty interesting because we had a lot of K2. Even Julie got a lot of K2 action upstairs when we were up there, in that one
Well,
room.
I would have let somebody else share my experience. I'm serious. I'd have been happy just with filming that.
Yeah.
But I really, it almost brought me down.
Hmm. Oh, I
That
know.
was,
The look on your face, I knew something was drastically wrong. I just didn't know what.
I didn't know what either. I
Hmm.
didn't know what had happened to me.
Hmm.
And, and I, I would not like to experience that again.
No, no, not at
And then I got hurt at Culloden too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, seriously? Twice? I'm good, thank you. Don't need anything else. I'm
I
good.
you left, and I walked the grounds,
Mm-hmm.
and Mikey and Julie and me and Liam
Mm-hmm.
grounds. And the only thing I could tell you about that for me was there was energy swirls. Is the only
Mm-hmm.
way to describe it. You
There
would
were.
go along, and then you would just feel like there was energy all around you.
It's like a vortex, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it didn't happen all the time, but certain areas when you got through on the pathways,
Mm-hmm.
like, it was kind of like it was a little disconcerting. It was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Felt like there was a lot of people around you, like they were surrounding you or something. It was
There were
just,
a lot of people surrounding you.
yeah,
There were
something.
1,500 and something Jacobites that died that day and 535 English.
Hmm.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of energy.
And, something that you mentioned, Liam, but when we were walking through, he had just told me that, you know, over here on the left, there's an area amongst this section where people have experiences. And if you feel something, I'd like you to let me know.
Hmm.
Well, you know, I didn't think anything about it. I'm strolling with Rick, just chit chatting away and checking stuff out and looking, and and that's when I got shot.
Hmm.
And I
And
was like,
I stopped.
whoa, yeah. So it was just like, well, no, because it was just me and Rick at that point.
Hmm.
I think you had gone in with Mikey,
I
but
I was on up at another grade marker or clan
yeah,
marker, and that's
it
when
was a different clan. Yeah,
yeah, and it was like I had to stop. I couldn't go forward,
yeah. But it
and
was,
and then you got.
and I was just like,
I'm done.
hello, what are you doing? I am a good guy. But but it was just weird. That was the weirdest place. But
Hmm.
we're supposed to be talking about other places too.
I I know.
But
I
when we get into Scotland, we get lost in the weeds there. It's just
that's a rabbit hole.
because the difference between our first visit and our second
Oh,
was
night.
night and day.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like the fact that, you know, we had to, I didn't mind paying to go back, but it would have been nice to have gotten anywhere near our money's worth the first time,
Yeah.
because we had to go back because we didn't get any of the stuff we were promised. And it was such a special place that we just had to go back.
Yep.
And I want to share, I was talking about my husband earlier, and my husband made these coins for us
He did.
for our trip to Scotland this time.
Hmm.
The man that got left behind because he didn't want to travel internationally, and yet he wound up running a business, watching the dogs and stuff. And
Hmm.
it says, Scotland 2024, Mikey, Rick, Lori, Kat. He didn't know Julie was going at that time,
Yeah.
or Julie would be on there too. I guarantee you she'll be on the next one. And then on the back, he was having trouble finding castles that he could machine well. My husband made these. So he
Hmm.
put the Loch Ness Monster with the mountains and everything else back there.
Hmm.
And I just think that that was absolute, well, and the ships too.
Yeah.
So, I just think that I think I'll keep him. So,
I
but
so.
we talk about stuff all the time. We talk about, Paulding. We talk about, you know, just the places that we go to a lot that we have such an affinity for.
Oh yeah.
And I was going to just go ahead and show that is the old Paulding Jail where we
Hmm.
go all the time.
Yep.
And Lori goes more often than I do because she lives there. This is the brilliant Balgony Castle.
Oh yeah.
Isn't it beautiful? Over here is where you park and you go around through here.
Hmm.
And this is the backside. And what I didn't know is that right back here is the North Sea.
Hmm.
So I just think that's a beautiful place.
Hmm.
And
Very special.
we've got some place that is near and dear to you would be
Yeah, Mansfield.
Mansfield,
That's
right?
one
That
of my.
is your place, babe.
Hmm. It is.
And there's the cell blocks
Mm-hmm.
so that we can just share those with people too. That is where, right up here, is where we had an experience.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where Katie saw somebody lean out the door. I had gone by and she was coming through, and a guy leaned out the door,
And
with his
startled.
hands up,
Yeah.
startled her to pieces. That was her first time. And
Yeah.
that was her first investigation.
That was birthday. That was one of my birthday parties.
It was your birthday party. And it was so much fun. Why are you so drawn to Mansfield?
I'm really not sure. Um, I've been going to Mansfield for years when they always had an investigation. I
Mm-hmm.
um I think I started investigating 2011 is when I started investigating. And when they had an opening, I can't tell you off the top of my head, it was 2012 or 2013. They had a ghost hunt, a public ghost hunt at Mansfield, and my daughter, Christy, my youngest, went with me, and we had so much interaction. Um, every time we were there, um, I'm not sure, but there was a murder occurred. Frank Hanger. He was a guard, and he
Mm-hmm.
was bludgeoned to death in solitaire. He was in solitaire. And I saw him standing down at the end. I saw a figure down at the end, and I said something to the people that were taking us around for the investigation. And I said, "There's somebody standing down there." And they said, "That's probably Frank." So when I went back down to solitaire, I said, "Frank, are you here? If you are, can you turn my light on?" And the light immediately came on. So ever since, I mean, I would go there at least once a year, sometimes twice a year. And Frank was always there. He would always let me know he was there. And even it carried into when I started renting the place. Because when I
Mm-hmm.
rent the place, it was like, okay, here we go. I can have this place to myself.
Yeah.
And Frank was there. But there was one time when that's when I was using my Ovilus. I said, "Is Frank here?" And you could hear distinctly, "Frank isn't here." So that's when I found out that Frank comes and goes. He comes in
Right.
or he leaves. He sometimes he's there, sometimes he isn't. But if he's there, he lets me know, you know. And I mean, all the incredible stuff that happened, like on my birthday when my K2 was pegged and
Yes.
I was playing Elvis, and Vicky caught that figure dancing right in front of me where I had
On you.
I mean,
On you too.
yeah.
It was friendly.
Yeah. I'm
Well,
not.
that was the night because remember I smelled my dad's tobacco
Yeah, we
and we
smelled the.
started following it,
Hmm.
and it
And
led us to where that person was.
on the stairs. Hmm.
Yeah.
And it was definitely enjoying Elvis because I turned
That's
on.
all she ever plays for them, y'all.
Yeah,
she
I do a lot of
she
Elvis.
knows that that's a period piece of music and everybody recognizes it.
Yeah, they
It's
they
really cool.
and the Righteous Brothers and what's the other one? Uh, Johnny Cash. They like Johnny
Hmm.
Cash and all those guys. I mean,
Yeah.
Roy Orbison, you know. And when I
Well, who
start,
doesn't like Roy Orbison?
it just seems to just, bring them out. It's like my old saying, what I usually say is music is a universal language.
It
They,
is.
everybody understands that no matter what, you know. So Yeah, it's pretty interesting, Mansfield. I've had so much happen there. It's just amazing. It really
It
is.
is. And, recently,
You were
huh?
there. You've
I
been there.
was there.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there. In fact, I was there when you were at a Steve and Tango event.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we officially, we really met there the first time
Mm-hmm.
because I had my friend Wanda there and we were in the downstairs
Mm-hmm.
area. And then we went on about our ways and then we wound up being best friends
Mm-hmm.
a year or two later, right?
Yeah,
I don't like ghost hunt weekends for much, but they did bring me a couple of good friends.
that's true.
I
Uh,
won't give them my money and I won't give them my time, but I do like the friends that I've made through them.
that's true.
But, I wanted to share something and I hope, not sure how I'm going to do this, but I think this is here. Let's see. I don't know. Let me see what I can do here. I'm trying to add an audio clip
Oh, okay.
and I'm going to do it right down here because, guys, all of this was set up before we got started. And bada boom, bada bang, through the world of Cat managing things differently. It was a lot of fun, but I always tell people um, that I have these experiences periodically.
Mm-hmm.
And this is actually something I'm going to play. I always talk about what happened when I was at Sloss, right? Sloss Furnaces in Birmingham is no longer open for investigation. Some of us have opinions about that. But I had been there. I'd taken a friend, blah, blah, blah. Y'all have heard the story, I know. But I took a friend whose children wanted to go ghost hunting. And when they found out that he knew one, there we went. So this was what I found after they left. I went back downstairs to make sure I hadn't left any equipment. One of the kids got scratched. I was just kind of wondering what was down there. And I don't know if this is going to work because this is my first time doing this, but Carl assures me that I'm on the right track. So we'll see what happens. Who are the men that people see at the top of the stairs? Okay, Carl said people see at the top of the stairs. That's going back into replay. Carl's nodding his head, so I'm assuming that came through.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's one of those things that I'm just kind of like, really? you know, um, I wasn't sure what to think. I didn't stay down there much longer after that. Not because I was horrified or anything, but because it was time to go because they were going to lock me in.
Right.
But, it's just one of those things that blow me away because I know I was the only person in that building. It was a cold, rainy, nasty day. My friends had already left. I waited and waved them off. There were no other cars there. Um, I had been in the doorway, right? So I knew that no one had gone in by me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of my favorite catches of all time. I will probably have it played at my funeral. I don't know, not really, but I'll be making my own at my funeral. But it's just one of those things that make you go, wow, that'll do,
Mm-hmm.
and this was from, this is from one of those things that I don't know why I sometimes get the F bomb dropped at me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm perfectly nice. I'm so Southern. How could you, drop an F bomb at me, right? Whatever. But this was fun. Oh, I was going to show people Sloss. I should probably show people sloths. But
Interesting.
just because I loaded these all up, and oh, I do have this I wanted to show. You know, this, we're right in the middle of it. I don't know how to pull that to the front. Why are we in the front of that?
You're in the backgrounds.
Oh, okay. Well, I was not seeing it. But anyway, this is Temple. When we
Mm.
were talking about being in a place that was so very ancient,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. But it's there's nothing there, as you can see. These walls are really not held up by much. You
Yeah.
cannot, and now Scotland is a right to roam place. If you get hurt there, that's on you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You can go anywhere that's not a private home, but if you get hurt, oh well.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Culloden battlefield.
Do we have to do over?
And it was one of the most tragic places, and they do not allow you to investigate there. Not that anyone should ever investigate someplace that's quite that holy. I have problems investigating. I don't investigate on the battlefield at Gettysburg for the same reason.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes you just have to respect the horror that happened. And that is, it is what it is. So, anyway, now I've lost how to make it go away. We've got that. But, I think that we were so blessed to be able to go and experience these things. I wanted to share this also because this is our group, Sans Rick. Rick was homesick. But this in the top hat is Gary, who is the gentleman of history and horror tours. He is doing a haunted walk of Perth, and if you go there, find them. I mean, seriously, the tours that they can provide you are unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
And the woman to the left is his bride, Lynn, and they are the knights, and they are absolutely wonderful human beings. And she loves haggis. So I knew there had to be something wrong. I'm teasing. She does adore it though. But and she has it cooked the way it's supposed to be, not like fried and you could drive nails with it. So, but I do love her and I do respect her so much. It's just brilliant to be with them. So, I just think that all of this stuff was so bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
The 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 way that we got to experience all of these things,
Mm-hmm.
that was brilliant. And I just wanted to share, this is my image that I took of Sloss Furnace. And this equipment in the front is just, I mean, it's just so atmospheric, right?
Mm-hmm.
And right under this water tower is where you can go into the areas, but they hold weddings there. It's you can have a banquet, you can have anything outdoor. They just do that. They also have the Gumbo Gala is there. They do animal adoption festivals and stuff like that. Very civic minded, and I just think that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, at any rate, this is the Thomas house.
Mm-hmm.
And we have been there separately.
Yes.
We had to have been there at the same time at one point. So, I mean, I'm just saying, we were so many places.
Mm-hmm.
But, I had David, my husband, who does not paranormal investigate and at all.
Right.
And I'm probably the strangest person he's ever been around. But it's so much fun because he went there with me.
Ah.
The time I went, he went there with me because he figured I'd be going back. And it was cute because he was safety guy, because he was like, oh my God, they have no working smoke detectors in a building this age. You're not coming back here unless you bring your own smoke detector. So every time I went, I had my own smoke detector in my room. But the funny thing is that Mr. I don't believe in ghosts. I don't know why we're here, but you just go have a good time. I've got the Braves game upstairs in the
Yeah.
little TV area.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he was upstairs watching the Braves game. And we were investigating, we were doing the meeting thing, we were doing all blah, 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 blah. And I came upstairs to check on him. The funniest thing was I hit the top of that stairway, leaning behind him in the corner was the shadow guy. And he has his arms crossed across his chest. He was just leaning back watching the Braves game with David. And I'm like, are you okay? And he was like, yeah, I'm just watching the Braves game. I was like, good talk. Yeah.
That's funny.
It was so funny because, and unless he heard me, he doesn't know that because it was just the strangest moment,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
I would have killed to have that on video, but I wasn't doing that. I was just checking on my husband.
Yeah.
So anyway, but you know, Thomas House is haunted. I
Mm-hmm.
get negative things back there at that church. What about you?
Yeah. I got poked at the church. I got the top of my wrist poked and blood
Hmm.
and blood. Uh, yeah.
Get out.
Yeah. Yep. I looked down at my wrist because I felt like pressure. It
Hmm.
wasn't pain, just pressure. And I looked down and I thought there was a bug on me. I thought a bug landed on me. And when I brushed it like I was going to brush the thing off, it was blood.
Why did I not ever know that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I left.
I would be
I
leaving. I don't like that church.
No, I don't. I think they tore it down. I think I read the structurally it finally collapsed or something. They just
Well,
ripped.
good riddance to bad energy.
Hmm. Yeah, there
That
was a
just means that energy is roaming.
yeah
Oh,
all
oh,
sounds you know.
yeah.
So yeah, that's probably another reason why I have never gone back. You know, well, just like that was strange. You and I weren't there at the same time, but we had some. It's just very odd energy there. Very
Yes.
um yeah. It was it was a long time ago. Goodness, I couldn't even tell
Since
you.
God was a child. Yeah.
So
That
there,
was also with that company that I don't,
yeah,
promote anymore.
yeah, same here. But John Tenney,
Shenanigans. Don't like shenanigans.
Adam and Amy were there. Bruce Tango,
I love him. Yeah.
yeah, and John Tenney and those guys were all there. And
That's a small place to have that many talent.
yeah, there was like
It
I said,
took all the rooms.
yeah, Octagon Hall. Yeah,
That is a little bitty place.
it's pretty tiny, but
Yeah.
we did get some interaction. But it was just
I've always gotten something there. I've never had a night that I didn't.
yeah,
They always talk about the Whistler and all this other stuff. I haven't had that. I
yeah,
mean, I've heard it, but I didn't know that it wasn't somebody doing it, given
yeah.
who we were with. But I have had, you know, video evidence that's not on this computer,
Yeah.
but it's movement. You know, lots and lots and lots of movement, child size.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those nights that you're sitting there and, everything's just kind of happening and it's hot and you're just kind of like going cross eyed because it's like, I
Yeah.
should have been in bed 6 hours ago, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh
it
yeah.
was just the strangest thing. And I was using just a night vision camera. I didn't have anything else running,
Mm-hmm.
but I always set it on the table so that even if I do get distracted, it's still filming right through there. And coming from the kitchen doors to the table was a lot of movement,
Mm-hmm.
child size, and that would be about right.
Mm-hmm.
So, but one of the places that we have been fairly recently and you're coming back to would be Pensacola,
The lighthouse.
the
Yay!
lighthouse. And
Yay.
guys, this place is so fantastic. And yes, I did just kick the bucket, but it's just one of those places
Mm-hmm.
that, hey, if you come up in the top, then you can pay to be up there when the Blue Angels are practicing, and they
Mm-hmm.
will buzz you.
Mm-hmm.
And it is so fun.
That would
But
be.
because I am a Blue Angels girl for a long, long time, and it's just so beautiful. I mean, it's just one of those places that
Yeah.
the keepers' quarters are beautiful. Even the basement is
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. There's not a bad thing. We both made it to the top,
Mm-hmm.
and the first time I ever went there, I was with a team out of Gulf Shores Paranormal. I think they're fully paranormal now.
Mm-hmm.
But the the guy, Todd Abrams, had made a recording, and he was running another recorder
Mm-hmm.
to catch any responses.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody thought about was if you get a response that's looking for interaction, they get pissed.
Ooh.
So the question that Todd had recorded was, did any of your family die here? The response that came was mom and dad, and then there was nothing coming back to it. And it said mom and dad. And again, it didn't get any feedback, and it goes mom and dad,
Yeah.
and then it was gone. I mean, I wouldn't have come back either.
Yeah.
But that's just one of those things. And it was a brilliant design
Mm-hmm.
to get a response. And there's no way he could have known or could have managed to be able to do that without doing live listening.
Yeah. I was gonna say you have to listen to
Yes.
bonds.
But that was where we were getting the interaction
Mm.
in the going up the stairs. Well,
Mm-hmm.
actually, no, that was in the basement. We got other stuff going up the stairs.
Mm. Yeah. We
That was
stopped.
up. No, that was. I am right. That was in that same room.
That was in that off room about half.
Yes, going up the stairs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we got a lot of response in that room, but you went on up to the top, and I had to catch my breath. There's 177 stairs, and carrying my SLS camera, which really got heavy, plus all
Yeah,
the stuff.
yeah,
Finally, I just sat down, and everybody else went upstairs, and I had kids giggling all around me. I went, well, that's interesting.
yeah.
So I put everything up and went on up the stairs and handed the camera to one of the people that were standing at the top. And I got to go out on the
Yes.
windy.
And we'll never share that picture. But we will
Oh
not ever share that picture. But it was so cool. So it was literally cool. We were freezing our butts off,
man, was it
but we
cold.
made it.
Yes, we did. We did all 177 stairs up
Yep.
and
But that was the reason that I remember that it was in that same area was because I needed a flashlight, right?
yeah.
To help and my voice recorder. And
Yep.
I had left equipment in the children's room
Mm-hmm.
up in the keeper's quarters.
Yep.
And that's where I went flying down the stairs, across the foyer, flying up the stairs to the quarters. And that's where that big black thing went.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, oh.
Yeah.
You want to talk about somebody that was doing some talking? I was doing some talking. I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm not meaning anything by this. I'm just wanting to be able to be up here. I left my equipment in there. You can, and then I had this brilliant idea, and if you don't want me going in the children's room, you can just kind of toss it out here. I will get it. Thinking, wouldn't that be so cool?
Yeah.
Nothing happened. I had to go in there past that big, but it did kind of come back down. But it was like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
I am fixing to get thrown down these. I didn't know what was fixing to happen.
Yeah.
But that's why I know that it was in that tower because I, I mean, I went in there and I got my stuff because I
Mhm.
wanted to bring it back,
Mhm.
to film what we were doing. And I was just like, oh no, I don't even know what to do.
I
But you want to talk about somebody that got out of that room and down the stairs and back up to where my friends were?
yeah,
Yeah,
looking around because when you told me that story, I thought, okay, please, I'm not here to, bother the children. I'm
yeah.
just here.
Well, they had um, aromas too, because when we first got there, they were showing us through, and the keeper's quarters in the parents' room.
Hmm.
There was like jasmine and hyacinth and everything. It was like it smelled like perfume,
Hmm.
and I was like, okay, I need to know where those flowers are because I need to just have this marked.
Hmm.
And she's like, well, we don't have any fresh flowers. I was like, well, what's blooming outside? And they were like, well, I mean, because there wasn't, right? And I
Oh.
said, well, what does that smell? I mean, because
Hmm.
it was like hyacinth, gardenia, there was jasmine. I mean, it was a perfume. It smelled delicious.
Hmm.
And I mean, you couldn't buy that. I've never smelled anything that good.
Hmm.
So that's why I thought it was natural.
Hmm.
And she said that one of the keeper's wives would make her own perfume. And I
Okay.
was like, well, I got to know what that blend is because,
Hmm.
oh my gosh, I love it. So,
Well,
there's all kinds of weird things that, well,
hmm.
they're not weird. They're just
Hmm.
daily living things that happen in that place.
Well, the basement, the last place
Yes.
we're at was that basement, and the interaction was off the chain. I mean,
Yes.
we had, I had SLS footage of something standing there, turning the lights on and off down there, and it
That's when
was,
my thermal locked up too.
mhm,
Thermals don't lock up.
no,
That did.
yeah. And when I turned my camera around, there was something standing next to me underneath the stairs.
Yeah.
It was that was insane. I mean, that was the last place we went to was down in that basement, and there was so much interaction down there. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Yes. That basement, I've been there other times. Every time I go there, that basement is so bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
And this was my first time to go like with a tour kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't a big tour. I mean,
So.
it was not going to be tainted, right? They did that very well.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just really, I don't know what there is about that basement.
Mm-hmm. There's there's a entity or something down there because it was letting us know that it was down there because we kept,
Yeah.
can you show yourself? And they would turn on the K2s and they would turn on
Yeah.
whatever had down there. They would turn
They
them on.
shut down other stuff though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was ill about that.
Yeah.
Like I can control that, right? But I do find myself just being like, if you're going to interact, why are you blocking me from documenting this?
Mm-hmm. Well,
Because I was recording with that thermal.
mm-hmm. Well,
And
look what happened at Mark's investigation with us.
yeah,
The channeling. I mean, it shut it.
it shut every camera down. That was so, I got really irritated. So, because I mean, that was my first time having that experience. And
Mm-hmm.
for Mark Elliott Fultz came with us. A friend had asked me to do an investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Lori came down to do it too.
Mm-hmm.
And Mark Fultz came with us. He's a brilliant psychic. You've heard him. His
Yeah.
show is just, he's brilliant. And he is, I didn't know he channeled like that. I mean, I knew he did everything, but I've never seen anyone
Act
whose actual features, even
change
the hair, the posture, the
everything.
facial structure,
Mm-hmm.
it was bizarre and it wouldn't let us film it. Every time I tried to film, it would shut everything down. I get so mad when they do that. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's like, if you're going to do this, please let us document it. People aren't going to believe this.
Yeah.
And I think that's the purpose.
Hmm. My mouth was gaped open.
Yes, it
Like,
was. You're welcome that I didn't share that. But I mean, I think we both felt like that. I've never seen that.
I was amazed. I was totally and absolutely just like, oh my gosh, I have never seen anybody completely change the way he did.
Yeah,
And I got scared because he didn't tell us that.
exactly. How to get him back.
Yeah, I kind of,
Yes,
and he, when the spirit said, "Are you done asking questions?" And then he brought himself out of it.
he
He
did.
he
He was
knew.
in control the whole time.
Yeah, he was in control of the yeah. He was never out of control of the whole
No,
situation. He just allowed this guy to
to
talk.
flow through him. Yeah.
Mm. Oh,
And
it
the
was,
funny thing was, this guy, you know,
yeah,
obviously we didn't know how bad a guy, but,
yeah,
and he's like, and I'm not black. And I
yeah.
was like,
Okay,
okay. He was like, no, you don't. I'm tan. I'm not black.
yeah,
And I'm like, okay. He's like, they made that picture in the post office doesn't look anything like me.
yeah.
And I'm like,
What?
why's your picture in the post office? That's none of your business. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, kind of it is. Come on, give it up.
Yeah. You.
So
He
that
never.
was trippy.
Mm-hmm. The trippiest part for me was when you said, "How did you die?" And
Yeah.
he was doing this.
Yeah. And he was
Mm-hmm.
whacking himself.
Mm-hmm. And you finally said, "Oh, you got shot in the head." And he went, "Yeah." He said, "I got up, but my body was still laying there.
My body wouldn't get up.
My body wouldn't get up, but I got up." And he
And I
ran.
ran.
Yep. He said, "I
And I
ran back,
ran.
knew, and that was here. It was there at that."
Because his hooker friends lived there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was his only safe place.
Mm-hmm. It's the only
And the only
place.
people that cared about him.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that weird that we learned all that stuff?
I know.
I mean,
It was so bizarre.
and I would never give up willingly that much control because but Mark's done that all his life, certainly since he was killed and came back.
Yeah.
But, and for those that don't know, our friend, when he was an adolescent, was beaten to death. And he actually did die and decided, and yet he came back.
Yeah.
So everything about him, I would think, including his attitude,
Mm-hmm.
changed at that point,
Mm-hmm.
and he has gone on to live the life that he lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
His,
he's brilliant.
yeah, his gifts are off the chain. I mean, I mean, when he channeled this guy, we found out why he hated dogs and why, you know, what had gone on in his
Oh,
life. You know,
we have all this place, and I did not even see that we had comments. And I'm so sorry, I just interrupted you.
that's okay.
So, we have Melinda Damon just said that she subscribed to us. So thank you.
Cute.
And we have Ethan Quesno. We have Hello, Mark Eddy. Oh my goodness, that is a blast from my past. He is a wonderful person and a good host. We have Tom McNicholas, Liz Milne. We've got Daniel Evans. Oh my goodness, look at all these wonderful people. Thank y'all for being here. And I'm sorry, and April Mueller. So, hi. I apologize to everybody in chat. My chat wasn't open.
Oh my.
So, my apologies. If you have any questions, please go ahead. Oh, when we were talking about music, Tom Nicholas said Buddy Holly. We've never played Buddy Holly.
No, never.
We should do that. So,
I've done
thank you.
my playlist.
Yes, we need to add that. And thank you very much to Carl for letting me know that I was missing that. I appreciate you. But anyway, I I was so rude to you.
No, we were just talking about Mark and what was going on when
The
he was.
brilliance.
Yeah, I
But
mean, when he cleared the area and the
let me
dog.
tell you, Ethan just said, what were we talking about? And we're talking about Mark Elliott Fultz, who was a psychic, a medium. He's a channel. And he worked with us on an investigation that we had.
Hmm.
And he channeled the spirit that was creating havoc and harm
Hmm.
to animals. And I actually got the call to do this investigation because a friend of mine from the dog park
Hmm.
had bought a house and his dog was reacting to the house. He wouldn't even get out of the truck to go into the house.
It was.
So David called me and said, this is happening and Bo is having these issues. And so we called in Mark to come and work with us on this case. And he channeled the spirit that was there, and it was a hideous human.
Yeah.
So he he
Larry.
helped us to get rid of it.
Hmm.
He did get rid of it.
Hmm.
And it was my first experience, Lori's too, of having a channel work with us. And he was transformed. His facial structure changed, his hair changed, his posture changed, but the facial structure
Yeah.
was the weirdest part of that. So if you missed that, then you can go back and listen to it and replay. But that was pretty much the gist of it.
Hmm.
And it was our first time ever working with someone like that.
Hmm.
So
And he brought
um,
himself out of it.
So Tom said when he dies, he's not sure if he would go any place in particular, just visit around. That would be a good thing to do, I think.
Hmm.
And Ethan is also a psychic medium, still learning about his gifts. So that's going to be a great journey for you, Ethan. It's an interesting one.
Hmm.
It's I am gifted, but I don't really work with them very much. I prefer to work with someone else that I might have more confidence in, but I just I'm not used to. I am used to them. I've had them all my life, but I like confirmation. I like people working with me,
Hmm.
so that way I don't have to second guess it. But thank you for being here. Now, one of the things that you know other things that we did. We talked about Thomas House and Paulding. We've talked about Sloss. We talked about. I have not really talked about Caraway. Did I talk very much about Caraway?
Mm-mm. No.
I don't even know if I have that in here. But one of the things that I learned was that people don't always leave where they die.
Right.
And I think sometimes they're trapped. And I think that's got to be one of the saddest things there are.
Hmm.
I don't understand how that happens. Have you had experience with that personally?
I can't say that I have. Um, the closest thing is when we were at Winchester House,
Yeah.
and we were up in that,
Oh,
you know, and Sarah was there.
yeah.
That that's probably the closest thing I would say to come to, because she passed away there, and
Well,
um,
she lived her whole life there.
yeah, I mean that, and she's still there. I mean, really, I mean it's pretty evident,
I
she.
would say I agree with you. She is there.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't think she's unhappy, but I just don't think she's ready to leave.
I agree.
I think that she has such connection to that property that she says she wants to stay there. That's the impression I got.
Well, I agree. I mean, she's very
She
very
was so,
attached.
she was so ahead of her time. with everything. I mean, the way the house was construction, you know, her
That was
even,
saving herself, wasn't it?
yeah. I mean, she even with her plants up by her bedroom, any water, there was she could recycle the water that came down. I
She was
mean,
ahead of her time.
she was so ahead of her time. It was amazing how far ahead she was. I mean, she had her quirks, 13, everything seemed to be in 13 with her. But
Stairs and everything.
yeah. And like I said, I just think she had such a strong connection to that place, not just because of all the continuous building, but I mean, I think her that was her love was there, her children, her, husband, child, everything was there.
Well, their spirits,
Yeah. And
because they had died when before she came out.
so it's just, that was her haven. That was her safe place. I don't know. It was just where she loved.
Well, and that's what made it so poignant because, she had her seance room. She
Hmm.
did all that stuff.
Hmm.
She was totally into that.
Oh, yeah. Hmm.
And, she was told that as long as there were hammers and saws and construction in that house, that she wouldn't die.
Right.
And that's why she did all that. I
Hmm.
mean, people thought she was, bat poop crazy, but she really wasn't.
Mm-mm. Nope.
She was just
And then once she did,
trying to stay.
everything stopped.
Huh?
When she passed away, everything stopped.
Yeah,
Construction, everything. They just walked off the job because there was no reason to
they're
stay.
done.
They were done because she was gone. So yeah, but the SLS footage I got with Mikey, it was unbelievable.
Yes.
That was unbelievable. I've never
Well, yeah,
seen.
that was something that I didn't even know was going on
Mm-hmm.
because I had wandered over into her room,
Mm-hmm.
and there that was when you were telling me about it and showing me. I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
this is unbelievable.
Yeah. And Mikey
So,
was supposed to just go get a battery, and
yeah,
I couldn't get my SLS to film it. The recorder wouldn't work. So Mikey flipped out his phone and started recording the screen because I couldn't get it, wouldn't let me record it
yeah.
on my camera. And Mikey, was the backup there. And I go, don't leave me yet. I know you got to get those batteries down there. But this is just unbelievable because you can see somebody standing in the window and then you can see something trying to crawl over to that person in the window.
That's what was so wild.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was just crazy. That was, other than when we were in the grand ballroom and we were all standing there. And you know how I am with the SLS. I'm always looking up,
You
filming
are.
corners. And Patty Negri was there, and she says they're above us. And I was catching. Now, SLS does not pick up dust. It
No.
does not record dust, but I saw orbs floating up above all of us. And Patty kept saying, they're above us. I said,
Hmm.
they are. Look,
And that's what was so fun because there were so many people in that ballroom.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's like that's where everybody came into the house. The dining room was over this way, and then there's the ballroom. And the ballroom was like chaos central. It
Yeah.
was fun, but there were a lot of people. And I just thought that was the coolest thing ever
Hmm.
that you had that.
Yeah. When Patty kept saying, she said, they're up above. And then when she said they're dancing, I said, yep,
Yes.
in that one window, there was somebody dancing in the window when that thing was trying to crawl over to it. They were dancing. And I told Patty, I said, yeah, they're dancing over there in that one side.
Yep.
She goes, yep, they're dancing. She said, I can see that. But when she did the seance is when it was like, oh my, because it was like she opened up the door and spirits came in. I mean, you had to come in standing beside you on each side.
Yeah.
The, on the SLS, I had two people standing. There was your mom and dad standing on each side of you in the dining room.
Yeah. And yeah, that's what was so funny when she was doing her seance in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just kind of like, hmm,
Yeah.
that was my mom. And everybody else was like, oh, well, that was mine. That was mine. That was mine. I was like, okay, all good. And, you know, but it hadn't been that long since my mom had died. So
Mm-hmm.
that made it a little bit more interesting, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh, any suggestions for Tom McNicholas with his first set of tarot cards? I only can tell you, Tom, practice. Just play with them, practice. I just got a new set of oracle cards that I've never used oracle cards before. So that's going to be something that I'm learning. So the only way, you know, they're going to get used to you just like you get used to them.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep playing. In fact, Lori is working now in several different places because she's filling in, but she's working in a crystal shop for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And do you sell tarot?
No, she doesn't have tarot. She has a lot of crystals, but I don't. There's see pendulums. The little chain with the crystal on the end. For
Yes.
answer.
Oh, well, perhaps something like this.
Yes,
Yes,
just
that's my pendulum that I got from Gregor when we were in Scotland.
yeah.
One of
She's so.
them, I have two.
hmm Yeah, she's got several of those. I've saw those, but I haven't seen tarot or oracle or dowsing rods. I haven't seen any of that. But from what I understand from people that use the tarot or the oracle, it's there are you just got to work with them. I mean,
Hmm.
you understand
They'll
what they.
learn you like you learned them.
Yeah, it's something. There's a learning curve when it comes to that. And then when you get connected to it, then the spirits usually help you with it. If you're trying to get some questions answered or something, it's just like Shelley with witch runes.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, she's
We have a
amazing.
friend who does runes,
Yeah,
reads runes.
mhm, from natural things, from the earth, and different elements and things, and
Hmm.
it's pretty, it's pretty amazing. Her, when she makes them. So yeah, her. I've had an oracle reading, I've had a tarot reading, and I've had the witch rune reading. And believe it or not, all three of them are almost the same. And they don't know each other, and they were months apart when I had it done. So,
I think that's cool.
and then I had the sketch of my guardian angel that stands out. I guess I have several, but this one gentleman came to the forefront, and I got a sketch of him. Angela did it. So yeah, pretty interesting. He's
That
down
is pretty interesting.
here on the floor next to me.
Well, that's all right. You had somebody dancing on top of my head,
That's true.
hip balding.
Yes.
That was fun. Said no one ever with a migraine. No, they didn't hurt my head. I'm just being facetious. But it really is interesting how they interact and show up.
Mm-hmm.
So
Really is. Yeah, the different readings, and then my past life regressions and the things that's gone
And now
on.
you're really into this,
Yeah,
the past life.
yeah, the past life regression um, was definitely eye opening. Um, yeah, I mean, your energy, you recognize energy. They don't, nobody looked the same, but you recognize the energy. You recognize that vibration or whatever you want to call it because you were there, but I was there, but it wasn't what we look like now. We were,
Well, the interesting part is that we we are not even always the same gender
no.
in
Mm-mm,
each life.
mm-mm.
And that's something that I found really interesting because, you know, feminine energy, I know men who have feminine energy who are the biggest he men of the planet, you
Mm-hmm,
know,
mm-hmm,
but it's really interesting.
mm-hmm.
And like, who were the people that were most in your energy field? Who did you recognize more often than others?
Um, Garrett. I recognized Garrett. I recognized Karen
Hmm.
and you and Rick. I recognized um, uh, there was other energies, but I didn't recognize them. You know,
Right.
um,
Maybe they're coming
they
in
could,
another
yeah,
incarnation.
yeah, but um, yeah. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, it was like to look at because I could see it in my mind's eye. I could see you, but it wasn't you. But I knew it was you. I know it's weird. It's
That
just
is weird.
yeah. It was like I know you, you know.
Right.
And but when I looked at you and I looked at me, and we don't look like this. We were,
Yeah. Well,
this
hopefully I'm forever 21 in that lifetime, so it's all good.
businessmen. We were bankers.
Yeah.
It was, and then another time we were female and we were fashion. You know, New York thing. I mean, and then another time it was when Karen. I recognized Karen's energy. I was a kid, barefooted, running around in the mud, and she was my best friend, you know, and um, all I remembered about that, there was corn everywhere, and Dad was gone all the time, and I had to help Mom. It was
So
just,
basically the farm where you live.
yeah, kind of like. So it was really just it was really strange. It was just really strange. But I went to Stephanie Burke, and she was the one who showed me my happiest.
Stephanie Burke is a medium who is absolutely a psychic medium who is absolutely brilliant, just so you know.
Yeah, and she said when she did it herself, she said I didn't ask for my happiest life. So she said I want to take you to your happiest life. I said okay, and it was my their hands down. I didn't want to leave. Seriously, it was when I was the most content, the most joy. Everything was perfect in, at that moment of my life. And you were there, and we were best friends.
Go
And
figure.
yeah, figure that out. But it was my happiest. I mean, the contentment, I didn't want to leave. And Stephanie said, you have to. I said, I don't want to, you know.
Well, when you were doing that was when you were in kind of a dark phase too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Things were things were changing.
Yeah. And seeing my life, that far back, and how happy and content, and how everything was perfect and everything was the way it was supposed to be. And, it was, Stephanie said, well, at least you knew you had a good life. I said, oh, yeah, I had a great life, so, but I told her, I said, I really don't want to see my worst life. She said, no. She said, you don't have to do that. She said, just, see what you've done before. And I did go back to, um, I was a monk. That's where I met Garrett. We were a monk together, and we were in dark robes, and it was toward the end of my life. And I was a, I, I was, I helped take care of sick people, you know, and, Garrett was there with me, and we were, friends. And, yeah, I mean, I, that was an odd regression, you know,
I would think.
it was odd. And then I had, like, when I was a kid, and then she brought me from the kid to, and that's when you came in, when I was older. My dad had died. I was going to school, and when I graduated, that's when you and I became friends, and we were working at the same bank together. We were in banking. I got married. Um, Sarah was her name. We had 2 children, uh, twins. You were married. I don't remember if you had children or not, but
Probably. I feel like I have every time I showed up. So,
I mean, they said take you to your when you died, and I said it was my heart. I lay down on the couch, and Sarah knelt down beside me, and she kept saying, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And all I can
oh,
remember, weirdest thing is, I looked up at her and I said, "I have to go. I have to go." And she kept saying, "No, don't leave." And I just closed my eyes and I was gone. I mean, I went like my,
well, there you go. Wow.
yeah, it was, I have to, and that was the last words out of my mouth. I have to go, which I
Wow.
odd, but yeah. And
Well,
you know,
I'm gonna I'm gonna bring you out of that.
okay.
We're going to Moon River Brewery.
Oh, okay.
And this is someplace else that we we were friends. We met there. We went to go investigate the Sorrel Weed House because we met at the Moon River Brewery.
Yes.
And so we came back together and did the Sorrel Weed House.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to add this. This is evidence. It's fun. And here we go.
Get both of those hands and the meter over there. So that, I mean, I'm not trying to just keep torturing you here, but we just like to be for sure on what we're asking, making sure we're not just conjuring up our own
This one just
story in our
died
head.
completely.
Hmm?
It just hit 0. Are you doing
I remember that. We're doing them both,
them both?
like you asked.
Thank you.
I remember.
And that was Doogie, for
Yeah.
those that didn't recognize that voice.
Oh, yeah.
But that was this was someplace that we had investigated before. And you and that doll get so much activity. It's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a Raggedy Ann doll. that
Mm-hmm.
is
K2.
K2. So then we have more from that same night, and this was interesting. We'll just play it.
Down the rest of the spot
81, and then drop to what?
to 77.
Just said Jan. It just said Jan. It's FM. Is that easier for you? Sometimes. Is that easier for you? Sometimes. And apparently that was playing on loop, so my bad, guys. But that was not Moon River. I thought that was Moon River. That was actually a private home investigation that I was doing. And in this particular instance, the individual was, she was fine with what was going on. It was known to her family. Everything else was, but she had had a stroke. And when I went to her door, she had a French accent. I was like, well, where are you from? And she was like, here, Southern. I was like, okay. And so she explained to me what had happened, and she had started having activity around her. And, so it was unexpected to get her name called out.
Yeah.
And then it was equally unexpected to, is that easier for you? Sometimes. It's just like, well, all right.
Okay.
Yay.
Okay.
This will be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's just always a surprise when we actually get things like that.
Well, just like,
Because
remember Mansfield?
I
When you
do.
were behind me and I asked them to turn everything on and they did.
Yes.
And it was across the room from each other. It wasn't like they were next to each
Yes. Yes. And it was all across the pews. All
other.
the way across these pews. Guys, we were in the chapel at Mansfield.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the doll. We had
Flashlights.
K2s. We had flashlights. We
Right.
had a REM pod.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
All together.
Mm-hmm.
And I have never seen that. And I haven't seen it since.
No.
Mansfield puts on a show. They
Yes.
really do. And it's not something you anticipate ever having.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a gift.
Oh, it is. It was amazing because
And
you
then you'll get where there's
and
nothing.
all these people go, they actually did it. Because I said, would you please do it all at the same time?
Yeah.
Just do it all at the same time, please. And he did. I mean,
Yeah.
one end of the pew to the other to the front, everything just went off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was a gift.
And that takes, ostensibly, we don't know. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We can only imagine, and we put our own interpretation based on our
Mm-hmm.
experiences personally.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be just like, stopping the tide or something. It's just like,
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
thought that was cool.
Yeah. It was. It was amazing. It really was.
It's just one of those things that it's an oh my gosh moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
It's like when we were at Balgony this year.
Hmm?
And again, I mean, Balgony.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we're Scottish Paranormal has created an event at this castle. Rick, our friend, has very strong ties to the laird who had passed since the last time we were there. And we were
In the museum room.
it was his area, but the it was kind of like an event, come investigate with the Americans kind of a thing. Right. So we were all in this room. And Rick was kind of surprised that we were in this particular room
Mm-hmm.
because it was away from the body of the castle, but it was actually right at the Laird's workshop. It was a very personal area for the Laird. He was a brilliant wood carver. He
Mm-hmm.
carved his own bed, he carved his own coffin, he carved his own doors. And yes,
Mm-hmm.
I did say coffin.
Mm-hmm.
And, so but Rick was kind of surprised about why we were there. Well, that got answered within the first 10 minutes of anyone being in the room with us, didn't it, Lori?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my, he's here.
It
Yeah.
was the most bizarre thing. It was like fireworks in that room. I'm not kidding. That's not me, with hyperbole. The
Oh,
REM pod looked like it was just exploding. It
yes.
looked like the lights were crawling up the
Right.
antenna.
Oh, I
I've
know.
never seen that.
It was crazy. And
It
my
was
K2 buried, his K2 was buried, and I looked
my
over.
stuff kept turning off.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
hate that. I hate when they do that.
yeah, and Julie's K2 was buried. I mean, it was
Everything,
oh, it was amazing.
everything that could light up was
Yeah.
pegged,
Everything was pegged. Everything was
and
vacant.
everybody's sitting there waiting, Rick McCollum to buy a clue. Everybody else knew who that was,
Yeah,
right?
good idea. It's like,
Yeah,
hello. Oh my
and
God.
I never did hear because there were some people from who had been told that there is a code word. Like Rick and I have a code word if he croaks and
Yeah,
comes back to me. We've got a code word.
right.
So it's just one of those things that the Greg with Scottish Paranormal had a code word with the Laird.
Mm-hmm.
And this woman kept saying, "What's the code word? What's your code word?" And I'm like, "Well, I think he's a little busy right now. He's showing us."
Yes.
But yeah, I never asked if anyone actually got that code word.
Yeah.
So I would be interested in that answer. So I'm going to, the next time I speak with them, get a question about that.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting because some of the experiences, the evidence that we had, the ghost stories that we learned, we were going to be talking about the angel in the cemetery
Oh, that's
at
Saint.
St. Andrews whose finger moves, and there's like different layers, different shadings where that happens.
Yeah.
Like it's
Or
happened more than once.
hmm?
And but that's the only finger that appears to be dropping.
Yeah. It's very.
So you've got, if you have not heard my shows with Greg
No.
Stewart, or read his books, you have got to step that up. He is brilliant. You can
Yes.
buy his books on Amazon. His newest one is Haunted Perthshire, but he has written 22 books about hauntings in Scotland,
Mm-hmm.
and they're every one of them jam up. You've
Oh,
got to read those, but or you can just listen to them on my shows. We've got archives,
yes.
but it's really exciting when we get to interact with people that have such a paranormal history,
Mm-hmm.
and and recognize that they're our peers and we get to play together, and because really and truly, while this is work that we take seriously when we're investigating, it's not something that we just randomly go at. We're serious about this.
Oh yeah.
And I think that it's such a pleasure to be able to interact and especially if there's a situation where one can help the other, whatever. But I have the other Moon River clip if you want to
Oh,
hear it
okay.
or watch it. But I'm assuming you can see them.
hmm
But
Hit both
same
of those
dog.
hands and the meter over there. So
Oh,
that,
that's
I
the
mean, I'm
same
not trying
one.
to
hmm
just keep torturing you here, but
Diggy
we just like to
torturing.
be for
That's a
sure
joke.
on what we're asking, making sure we're
Not
not just conjuring up our own
This one just
story in our
turned
head.
completely.
hmm
It just hit 0. Are you
I still
doing
think that was cool.
Well, she's doing them both.
One of my
doing them
favorite
both?
clips there.
You asked.
Thank you.
Okay. And this one, we're going to add.
Did a public investigation with a couple of other guys. I believe it wasn't Polish, wasn't it? Was it? We put the table. We had the stuff on the table. But it's
This
split into
was-
groups. So he brought
There's
some
something
of
if
the
he's
equipment
pointing
down
up
here,
here.
and he had like a kit with everything, and
Yeah.
he had it all the way down, and they're using it. And then it's time to stop to go upstairs for a cup of
That's
tea
a
and stuff,
separate
and
entity.
swap rooms
Those
and
two
see
of them.
everybody else.
Right.
And so
That was the house where Lori murdered everybody
One person.
that we know of.
Yeah.
That was Bannockburn House, and that was in the kitchen of Bannockburn House. And this is in Scotland,
hmm
and it is some of the most blood-filled land in Scotland, and that's saying something.
Yeah.
But we were, this was so bizarre. We were in the kitchen, we were looking down a hallway, nobody was there, and we're getting movement, we're getting temperature fluctuations, we're seeing a figure.
hmm
And that was probably the most active, other than where that person was just so offended by you.
Yeah.
I'd been offended too in those shoes. I'm just letting you know, don't even think about that chick. But it was just that house, Bannockburn House. If you watch Haunted Scotland, you can go and look on Roku on the Discovery Channel. You can pull up all the Haunted Scotland shows. They investigated Bannockburn House.
hmm
We were so fortunate. They've also investigated just about everywhere we investigated. So watch their shows.
hmm
But it was cool. Just
hmm
like you can watch all of our shows, by the way, on Dark Realm TV. And you got to check that out. We are so excited to be part of that. $4.99 a month or $49.99 a year. You're going to get more paranormal shows than you could shake a stick at. Free ad, just because I thought about Scottish Paranormal. But there you go. But, it is so cool to be able to go and look at the different places and know that we investigated there.
Yeah.
What was your favorite place out of all of the ones other than Balgony? You can't say Balgony
Yeah.
that we investigated
Um. Wow.
for activity,
For
not for
activity.
history. For
Well,
activity, not history.
now activity, I would say. Wow, that's a toughie. Well, like I said, I've got a soft spot for the Fair Maid's house, but
Yeah.
I mean, the Salutation
Yeah.
Hotel was off the chain. I mean, as far as you know, activity. I mean, it was using every piece of equipment we could put out down there. It
Yes.
through the lead wire, everything. It was coming down the stairs, then it would go back up the stairs, and
And
it
we changed rooms.
yeah, and it was
They
using
finished that event and let us in that other room.
yeah, and then we got the REM pod activity. We got it was that and as old as that hotel was, yeah, that was one of my favorite as far as activity. There
Yeah.
was much activity there, and it went on for so long. I
And
mean,
it was so unexpected.
yeah, because we weren't expecting that much activity in that one spot. And yeah, I mean, I was kind of shocked, but it was a great shock. But
Absolutely.
but yeah, I mean, Scotland is just amazing. I mean, it's just an amazing country, and getting to go back in 2026, going up to the Highlands and stuff,
Yeah.
farther. It's just,
Farther is farther away.
hmm
I can't wait.
and
Well,
I did some tracing, and I do have family members in Orkney.
well, I am so pulled to Orkney. It's prehistoric. I
Hmm.
love prehistoric stuff.
Hmm.
So um,
Yeah.
don't be shocked if we don't go there. We may not do it in 2026, but we're going there
Hmm.
in
Pretty
the
much.
dead of summer, but we're going there because, oh my God, it's so far north. But, I really think that it's amazing the level of evidence that we get in every place that we go. And it's so interesting
Hmm.
because one of us will be just getting hit left and right, and then the other person is like,
Yeah.
you know,
On.
and then the next time it'll be somebody else's turn, but it's I hate it when I'm the one getting crickets, right? But I get so excited because when somebody else is getting stuff around me, that's still activity around me.
Hmm.
Something is still playing with us
Yeah.
and trying to communicate with us. And I find that so cool.
Hmm.
I just think it's so freaking amazing.
Well, yeah.
And, I think that I like investigating with you because either they like you and hate me or they like me and hate you. I mean, there's always there's not really a balance where we're both loved at the same time,
That's
but
true.
at least we're not both hated at the same time either.
That's true. That's
You know,
true. Yeah.
but different spirits pull different ways. And, it's like when we're at Paulding,
Yeah.
one of us is the hero and the other one's the villain. It just depends on the day, right?
Yep.
But they, they're so, spirits are so, if you're dealing with an intelligent spirit, they have opinions and they have personalities.
Hmm.
And those personalities don't always play nicely with yours,
That's true.
because they're not there for a popularity contest. They're dead and they're trying to talk to somebody.
Hmm.
Or you're in their way and get away. I'm trying to have a life or afterlife here.
Yeah.
You know,
Back
I
away.
don't,
Back
yeah.
away.
See ya.
Hmm. Oh, yeah.
And if you don't leave on your own, we'll help you.
Hmm.
you know, just craziness, just craziness. But
Yeah.
we're almost out of time. We've only got like 7 minutes left. I can't believe this show has gone this quickly.
Wow. Okay. Well,
We have got.
when we were at the Cairns, where the energy,
Oh my goodness,
that was crazy. That the trees were circled
the
as well.
trees were circles, just like we had found in Dunkeld.
Hmm.
And I was so glad when we got to the cairns. I was so glad that you had been able to learn that when we were in Dunkeld, because I think it really made you understand
Hmm.
what you were feeling at
Yeah.
the Kava Cairns.
Hmm. And then
They were wild.
I went to the trees. I was drawn to the trees more than the little
Yes.
stone. And I just put my hands on the trees, and you could just feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the trees were circled around you. You were completely encased with different circles of trees. I mean,
Yes.
it was all over. There were circles of trees, and then the stone, and then there was the standing stones. And I mean, the energy was off the chain. I mean, it was
Well, the
just,
standing stones, I mean, because the cairns were
mhm,
graves. So there was going to be energy with those. The fact that the standing stones had so much energy was, to me, a little bizarre. But I'm going to tell you, when I touched the stone that's supposed to take me back to the 1400s, I got nothing. I'm so disappointed. But I'm with you, because when you touch, just like when we were in Dunkeld, when you touch the trees, when you feel it, you know, you knew when we got to Fava Cairns what you were going to get from the trees
Yeah.
based on Dunkeld. So, you know, my hands are lighting up just doing this. But it's so, I'm so glad that those trees that were with the cairns were so powerful.
Oh yeah, it was.
They were ancient of days. They were so, that was the most bizarre energy field, really, I think. At least in the top three, maybe the top one.
But for me, it was a calming. It was calming to
It
me.
was healing.
Mm-hmm.
It was welcoming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a
I
good
can
way.
imagine that it might not be always, but it was then
Yeah, when we were there, I mean, when
to
we walked,
us.
yeah, I walked into several circles, and it was like, okay, you're okay, you can
Yeah.
be type thing. Yeah, and that
Yeah, I would
was,
have hated to have had that energy coming at me in a negative way.
yeah, that could be bad.
Ooh, that would be bad.
That would be bad. Well, he
But
almost knocked me to my knees on the other, so
yeah, true that. You're welcome.
yeah, I'm gonna help you with your shoulder. Zap.
Yeah, that. Hey, when I heal, girl. What do I say? But we have less
Oh,
than 3 minutes left. But
okay.
I do want to let people know again that thank you so much for being here. But you know what? You can see me and so many other shows if you go to Dark Realm TV on your Roku, because, oh my goodness, so many shows, so little time to go through the list. But you're going to find everyone that you see here. You're going to find the Lynches. You're going to find the Pridemores. You're going to find all these people. And everyone there is somebody that you will learn from, that you'll enjoy, that you'll be blown away by some of the experiences that they share. And it's just good paranormal television. So it's $4.99 a month to subscribe, $49.99 for a year. And you're not even going to believe all of the paranormal television that you're going to have out there. It's going to be every show that's on this network. It's going to be everybody that you could ever want to watch. So come and join us and enjoy it. And I'm really excited about getting to see all my friends in one place.
Yeah.
So, Lori, thank you so much for being here. Every time we get together, this was supposed to be just strictly an evidence show, right? And it's so much more. Every time we talk, we have different experiences to share, and I like it because we've got that history,
Mm-hmm.
and we've had the opportunity to explore places that are just kind of off the beaten path.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's something people need to know about. Get
Yes.
out there, just go and find things. You know what? Use your cell phone,
Oh
turn on
yeah.
your voice recorder, film, do whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll be amazed at what you'll find. You don't have to have $5,000 worth of equipment to go and have a good experience.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Although it's fun with some of the equipment too. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But I don't have that that level. So anyway, thank you so much, Lori, for being here. For all of our listeners, thank you so much too, because you know what? You're the reason we do these shows, and you're the reason that Dark Film TV is going to be successful because of you.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for your support. Thank you for listening and watching. And we will see you next time. Same cat channel. Good night.